Hello, welcome to my PowerPoint presentation on 3 video games that Plato would have loved. So, what did Plato actually teach? Well, Plato taught about forms and how we can only perceive a constantly changing version of this world, and that the good is the true form in which this world would be. Now, he's most well known for his allegory of the cave. That will be the picture in the top left right there. And this kind of shows how he viewed the good. So the story basically goes you have these three men chained in a cave in front of a fire, and the fire is casting this light at their backs. And at their backs, dancing on the wall, you have their shadows. Now, these shadows are how we would say that's just the way it is. That's the way the world is. But eventually, one of them doesn't really believe that the cave is all there is to it. So he escapes and he gets outside and he sees this sun on his head and he's astonished. He runs back inside to tell the other two and they don't believe him. And this was an allegory for waking up, seeing the good in the world and how most people are going to try and deny it. And the good was actually truth, beauty, and justice, or as he would call it, moral goodness or harmonia. And that is deeply important for the way he sees the world because he believes that our virtue is the knowledge of these things. So, the first game I have for him, with all of this being said, is Inscription. Now, Inscription is a bonkers game. If you have ever played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But absolutely nothing in this game is as it seems. And my goodness, I think it would drive him up a wall. He, I think he'd eventually like it, but at first it would drive him crazy because like we said, for him, the virtue is knowledge. So it would kind of drive him crazy that all of the knowledge he would gather throughout playing this game would feel irrelevant, sidelined, that it wouldn't matter. And because of that, there wouldn't really be any virtue for him to grab onto. And I think that would really fascinate him because for the third time now, that virtue for him was knowledge. So if there was no knowledge that could be certain, where could the virtue be found? And I think that would be a really interesting moral predicament to place Plato inside of. Next up, we have Ultros. Now, for those of you who have never played this game before, it is a very, I don't know how else to describe it. I wrote it down here too. Psychedelic art style. It's a Metroidvania. It's got that real sense of there is a bigger entity, there's a bigger fish here at play for my Star Wars fans. And you really go through this world and you're digging through that. And it can be very intimidating at times, but it heavily encourages this experimentation. Um, it encourages you to kind of experiment with your own physique and the environment. There's a bunch of seeds that grow into these crazy plants. I've posted some of which on screen right now. There's these crazy fauna that grow as well. And this little green guy here on the right is probably the sweetest, most dopamine hitting NPC I've ever had the experience of interacting with, and I think he would really enjoy that too because he's very positive. He loves the beauty of the plants, the world he's in, and I think he'd really like it. But the big one here is that kind of overbearing sense of existence that we know he kind of thought about with his forms, and it really matches that allegory of the cave that he would want to be kind of thrust into to experience firsthand for himself. Now, the plot is very convoluted, but I think he would enjoy discovering. And I think discovery is kind of something that all of the Greco Roman era philosophers really enjoyed. And I also think he'd think the combat's cool, if I didn't say that already. And the final game we have is really leaning into that beauty that he was known for loving so much, and that is Jusant. Jusant is a French indie game about climbing in a world where the water has miraculously disappeared. And I really want to give him this one just because I think the shots, the camera work in this game is absolutely astonishing. I think he would love it. I think he would really love reading the letters that were left behind because there's a lot of people who climbed the mountain even further to try to find where the water went. I think he'd love this little blue homie we have coming around on our shoulder. And Plato once said, "It is a shame for a man to grow old and die without seeing the wonder in which his body is capable." And brother, this MC is very physically capable. He climbs this entire mountain by himself. It's a very rewarding experience. The story is very tender, it's very sweet, and I think he would draw a lot of value out of that. So, thank you guys for watching my last two videos on Aristotle and Socrates. You guys blew up for a small channel like me. That means a lot. Um, I really want to see where this can go. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about Musashi. So, with all that said, love you guys. Bye.